move on to, we're now going to jump a few questions, Mr Mayor. We're moving on. Oh, sorry. It's my eagerness to get on with the meeting, but apologies to Assembly Member Turrell. You did indicate the floor is yours.
That was very unneighbourly, Chair. Good morning, Mr Mayor. But before I ask my question, I'm sure you'll want to join me in thanking the hundreds or so firefighters who are currently tackling a blaze on Penge High Street in my constituency, and thank them for their bravery and the speed with which they've got this fire under control. Now, speaking of Outer London and transporting Outer London, you've mentioned the lack of public transport in Outer London, which does lead to higher car dependency. And it's on that I once again draw back to this RAC list published in March this year that listed the top 10 car theft hotspots in the UK. Now, 8 of those were in London, 7 in Outer London. With this in mind, as a way to tackle increasing car theft, will you commit to giving the police access to the live feed from the ULEZ cameras so that they can use the ANPR facility to track where these stolen cars are being taken to have their place removed so we can start dismantling these criminal gang networks?
Yeah, Chair, thank you for the question. I'm sorry that I wasn't given an answer notice. I'm not aware of what the position is in relation to the Outer London cameras. My understanding from memory was the police have access to Central and Inner London. There was conversations about Outer London as well. I thought they'd been resolved, but can I take this away and come back to him in relation to this issue? The issue was the issue of data and stuff, which is a formality, I'm sure. But can I come back to him on that? Thank
you very much for that answer, Mr. Mayor. So another point on this is, and we know that these cars are being stolen to order by gangs, and that the money they make from this is therefore being used to fund crimes across London, and that therefore tackling this will help us to dismantle gangs across London. One of the things that's come to my attention is a big reason why it's so easy to get the cars abroad is a lack of checks on what goes in shipping containers and how easy it is to obtain a shipping container. Can I ask you to raise this with ministers?
I'm really grateful both for his comments about the fire brigade. Apologies, I didn't thank him for making those comments. And secondly, this comment. You know, I've recently been in a police operation where I was startled to understand the scale of mobile phones being exported using similar methods to what he said without breaching confidences. And I think with cars it should be easier because of the size, but also he will know some are breaking down for parts. But can I speak to the Commissioner about this? Because the Met Police work really closely with the NCA in relation to organised criminal groups, and I suspect these OCGs operate on this, and I'm sure the Commissioner can brief him about the work being undertaken, but also he makes a good point, working in partnership with companies, whether it's container companies or courier companies, we can do a lot of crime fighting, and the police are doing that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And my final ask for you on this thing is, will you commit to publishing a dedicated strategy to tackling vehicle theft in Outer London?
Chair, why don't I again ask the Commissioner to respond to the member in relation to all the things the police are doing, and if the member wants the police to go over and above what the police are doing, I'm happy to organise a conversation for him to have that with the police to discuss that.
Okay, so we've got a number of questions that have been withdrawn throughout the rest of these questions, but let's jump to questions on job and investment in the tech and life science sector in the name of Assembly Member Clark.
Thank you for your question. While some politicians and commentators talk down London, I champion London as the best place to work, live and visit. And the latest evidence is clear. A record number of US citizens are already applying for citizenship here in the UK, and we're seeing increasing numbers of international students coming to London. A record 7,930 students from the USA applied for UK undergraduate courses starting this month, the highest total since records began in 2006. We're also seeing significant increases of students coming from China, Ireland, Nigeria and elsewhere. London is the #1 city in the world for tech and life sciences in Europe, and second only to Silicon Valley in tech in the world. London-based AI firms raised £6.3 billion in venture capital investment between 2021 and 2024, and in 2025 so far, our life sciences sector has attracted nearly £1 billion of investment. The London Growth Plan sets out how we are positioning our city to be #1 in frontier innovation. In May this year, I invested in the development of London's first quantum tech cluster led by UCL, Imperial and King's to support a new generation of quantum scientists and startups to emerge. Our flagship events such as London Tech Week and London Life Sciences Week are now bigger than ever, and we're shaping our inward investment efforts to focus on attracting and supporting businesses in these sectors. Our Grow London and Funding London programmes are helping life sciences and tech scale-ups to get the support and finance they need to grow and go global. We've also aligned our approach with the National Industrial Strategy and will partner with UK Research and Innovation, universities and businesses to invest at least £30 million from the new Local Innovation Partnership Fund in frontier innovation growth. I welcome the achievements of this government in forging the technology prosperity trade deal between the USA and the UK, which is a big focus on the tech sector, including AI, quantum and clear R&D synergies in life sciences. I'll continue to bang the drum for London's world-leading innovators and for our values of being open to talent and ideas from around the globe, including our friends from the USA.
That's really great to hear. You're absolutely right to be positioning London to be ready to receive even more people coming to work in our tech and life science industries, which have a huge impact on our economy. I'm wondering though, how will London specifically benefit from record tech investment deal that has been announced between the government and the USA?
So it's really important to understand our strengths. And one of our strengths as a city is not just our agglomeration of different sectors, finance, professional services, culture, hospitality, but actually higher education and life sciences are really important. And so this year, for the first time, we'll have a massive Life Science Week event taking place in London. I mentioned in my answer. You should know about the success of London Tech Week. We're also using our research universities, UCLH, King's College, Imperial, Royal Marsden, but the various companies that are based in London to work together to create that ecosystem. Frances Crick are an amazing asset for our city. She'll know the strengths of Knowledge Quarter, White City and Paddington. So we're using the various sectors we have to try and work together to try and attract talent, retain it. And the really good thing about some of our universities is they're thinking about how they can not just use patent and copyright, but also get VC money in to make sure those startups don't go to America to be scale-ups, but scale up here as well. We want that talent to stay here. And let's be frank, bear in mind what's happening in the USA and the uncertainty and stability across the globe, China, France, Germany, elsewhere, we're a good base for people to come for certainty, calm and that energy.
I mean, I think there's no question that London is a great, it's the best city to live in, it's the best city to work in, it's the best city to be in. And I think we're absolutely right to be positioning ourselves to be growing those jobs, working with our university partners, working with the tech sector and working with the government to be sure that London continues to be a leading tech city for the whole planet. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
So, I mean, on that point, I was really pleased that the Prime Minister took with him to his trip to India university heads, people in the business community in London to try and have those B2B contacts and also to encourage Indians, you mentioned Americans, but Indians, Americans, others, to come here to study, to invest and so forth. And it's the biggest delegation our Prime Minister's ever taken to India. And that delegation included representatives from the life sciences sector that she talked about.
Sorry, Chair, just very quickly. I just want to highlight, though, I did meet with the Indian High Commissioner at Labour Party conference, and that was highlighted, was Britain's interest in working with Indian tech firms as well, and it's absolutely the right thing to be doing, so thank you.
Okay, so we're now then moving to the next question, is responding to public order pressures in the name of Assembly Member Ahmed.
Can I thank the member for her question? London is the nation's capital and the cultural and political centre for our country, and consequently, the Met is facing significant challenges with the frequency and complexity of protests in London. The Met faces an ever-growing pressure, particularly with the polarisation in society, to please more protests, in addition to managing the numerous cultural and sporting events that take place in the capital. The Met was deployed to over 150 protests in this summer alone, and they've been doing a good job managing this pressure. I want to pay tribute to the officers who have been working hard to facilitate protests, prevent disorder and keep Londoners safe. But there is no doubt that resourcing is stretched, and that is one of the reasons why I've invested over £1.16 billion in policing larger than any previous mayor to support the Met to be better resourced to deal with this demand. I've also lobbied the government for fairer funding related to London's unique pressures on policing, and this has led to the Met receiving an increase of 30% to the National and International Capital City Grant NIC this financial year, equating to over £63 million extra for policing in London, something the previous government failed to do. Although this was good news, there is still a significant shortfall in NIC funding, and I'll continue to push for a fairer settlement as the Met works hard to balance its budget and cover the unique pressures of policing in London. The unprecedented demands on police resources has led to the visible policing presence of neighbourhood teams becoming increasingly stretched. Whilst the Met continues to make efforts to avoid abstractions, I recognise that community policing is still affected on too many occasions. I've intervened to ease this pressure for the Met, and in July this year, City Hall, together with the Home Office, boosted the Met's funding for neighbourhood policing through an additional £32 million.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The Met, as you know, is enduring one of the greatest periods of sustained public order pressure. Last month's rally, organised by the far-right activists, including Tommy Robinson, saw hate speech on a vast scale, with one speaker calling for sending rapist Muslims back to Sharia countries before they behead our children and colonise England, and Elon Musk telling protesters that violence is coming, fight back or die. Protesters assaulted 26 officers and were recorded threatening to assassinate prime ministers. Londoners are rightly fearful of the violence and racism promoted at this event. What is being done to